Morning. Hi, Danielle. Okay, we'll wait wait a couple minutes here. I might look washed out because I'm in a hotel room and there's zero overhead lighting. So all I have is my little spotlight, which is making things a little interesting this morning. See who else we get on here. In a few more minutes. Making sure the office can get on. Don't see them yet. There's Adam. Hey, Adam.
You guys able to figure out the recordings to get in there? If you need to access them?
Yes.
The recordings, what do you mean?
She records these meetings, so if
Okay.
you miss anything or you
Oh,
need to
okay.
rehear.
I was not able to download any of those attachments that she sent, though, were you?
Which,
When she sent the things from the locker room, I think it was,
yes.
I could not download them. You could?
Hey, got some
Alright,
feedback.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, Hudson Valley is here.
Awesome.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great.
Okay, you're all
There you
set?
are. Awesome. So
We
who
just
do I
have
have?
two
I have
people here.
Adam, Janet. Who else is
That's
in the
it.
room? That's it?
Just Donna.
Okay.
Just Jody, or just Adam and Janet.
Okay.
Can you get my notebook? I'll be right
It is a holiday today, Jody, so,
It is.
yeah, I thought it was, I thought somebody said it was a holiday this week, today and tomorrow, not Rosh Hashanah.
No,
something-
Yom Kippur is tomorrow and Wednesday.
Oh, okay, tomorrow and Wednesday, okay.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If we get one more minute and then we'll get started.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here while we're waiting. Okay. Great. Okay, it looks like all of you have set up your core account, so that's good.
Finally.
Yeah, it's interesting, Janet, that yours wasn't working because,
Yeah, she said, that my name wasn't on something, so she put my name in and then they sent me a message and it worked then.
Yeah.
I just got it this morning. I just did it this morning.
yeah, it wasn't on there because you hadn't set up your account yet, so. We got her squared away. All right, well, we're gonna get started because you guys are all here, and first thing we're gonna do is a little bit of accountability this morning. So Adam, did you track in the core for 5 days?
I tracked for 2 of the days.
2 days? Okay, awesome. It's better than 0, right?
It is.
Danielle, did you track 5 days? You can chat me if you need to. Let's see here. Janet, did you just got in, but did you
I
track
just got
on
in.
the sheet that I gave you, that I emailed
No,
out?
I didn't. No, I totally forgot about that sheet.
Okay. All right, and all right, perfect. And looks like you all did your week in review. Well, look at that. Good job, you guys. Danielle, where Anne and Stephanie are. Hopefully they'll pop on here. Janet did hers. Awesome. Okay. For those of you that were on or caught up, did you do a seller role play with anybody? No? Okay. Those are going to be really key in helping you build your confidence and your competence with your presentations and your consultations. So it doesn't have to be with another agent. It can be if you want some good, solid feedback. But just practicing the words, practicing your delivery, mirror and matching, making sure that you know, you're kind of going at their pace, etc. That's going to really build your confidence and your competence in those two deliveries for buyers and sellers. So I really recommend doing those on a weekly basis until you feel really comfortable.
Right.
Let's see here. Seller packets. Did anyone get their seller packets done? Pre-listing and listing. Awesome. Good job, Adam.
And I did the buyer ones from last week that I.
Great. Perfect. Let's see here. You see in a chat? No. Okay. All right. And then contacts added. Adam, how many contacts did you add to your database this last week?
25.
25. Look at that. Janet, how many did you add?
I added 6.
6. Great. Better than 0, right?
True.
Let's see, Stephanie and them. Okay. So, so by this session, so we've been in 2 weeks. This is our 3rd week. And your action item was to have right now 50 people in your database, right? Okay. So get that up there because today we're going to talk about database or database or however you say it. I don't know if there's a one way better than the other, but if it drives you crazy the way I say it, sorry. We're going to talk about getting a solid core database, like your core group of people, and making sure that you follow up with them in a consistent, timely manner, because the fortune is in the follow-up. When you're doing your lead generation, and if you don't like that word or that phrase, lead generation, because it makes you kind of like want to throw up or something, then think of it as appointment setting time, relationship building time, whatever you want to name it, if you don't like lead gen. Because I know when people hear lead gen, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. Okay? So, whatever you want to call it, relationship building time, appointment setting time, work, that's when you're working. Okay? So, looking at your database, there's a couple different scenarios and a couple different ways to get it set up. So we're going to, because numbers matter, right? If there's, if you have a large database and you have a conversion ratio of, 50 to 1, every 50 contacts you get 1 piece of business, then the larger your database is, the more business you'll get. And if you have just your core chunk of people that you know, your sphere, they already know you, like you, trust you, and you're keeping in touch with them, because it's not their job to remember that we're realtors. It's our job to remind them that we're realtors. Okay. So talking about follow-up today and setting up your core people in your database. Okay. So remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. because you could lead gen for new business every day. And then you're like, oh, I haven't talked to Joe Smith for, I don't know, 30 days, maybe 2 months. I don't know, because you don't have a system, right? You call them and they're like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. We just closed on our house last week. And then you're like, well, that sucks. We forgot you're a realtor. We walked into an open house and just worked with the agent that was there.
Right.
That's too bad, right? So let's not have that happen. The follow-up is really, really key. So I'm going to show you some statistics. The first one, let me share my screen here with you. Here's the first one. Whoops. What do you see?
89 and 12.
89 and 12. What do these numbers mean? So according to NAR, they did a profile of home buyers and sellers in 2017, so it's not super old, right? 89% of buyers and sellers would recommend or use their agent again. However, only 12% actually worked with their agent again. They said they would. They actually did. Said they would work with you again 89% of the time. And they only actually worked with that agent again 12% of the time. Tell me why.
Because they didn't do effective follow-up with the people that originally said they would.
Right.
Work with.
Right? Don't just go under, I don't know why this keeps doing what it's doing, but don't just go under the assumption that you've talked to them once and they said, yeah, we'll work with you, or we'll refer you, or yeah, we can't wait to work with you again. And then they don't. Because just that one communication, don't bank on that, right? Don't bank on them remembering. Follow up. So we're going to work on a couple different systems for your follow-up. Okay, another statistic. This one freaks me out. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness. I'm going to blow this up so y'all can see it. Okay. So, sales statistics, and this is not just real estate related, this is sales across the board. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Never, like 0 of the time. Almost half of us do not ever follow up with a prospect.
It's crazy.
Isn't that ridiculous? Like they said, I want to buy or sell a house and we never follow up. Yikes. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. So I've tried to contact them twice. They didn't get back to me. Forget it. I'm moving on. 25%. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. And only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
So are we, as salespeople, deciding for our prospects or people that have told us they want to do business with us, are we deciding for them that they don't want to work with us if we stop contacting them?
Yes.
Do we get to make decisions for other people?
No.
No. So this was a huge wake-up call for me. When I saw this, I was like, oh, no, that is crazy. So I decided I'm going to stop making decisions for other people and let them decide whether they want to work with me. Now, we've all, I mean, even if they're sitting there and they see your name and they're like, decline, decline, I'm not answering that text, decline, 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 and you send them one more and they're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness they contacted me. right? You never know. It's like that next one could be it. That next one. So I was teaching this to my agents in Kansas here, and one agent was like, so I just keep contacting them, and then it's just a reminder. I'm like, right? Just because they're not answering or picking up doesn't mean you're not planting that little seed in their head, right? You're planting that seed. So then when your name does come up and they need you, they'll be like, oh my gosh, you texted me at the perfect time. Okay. We're going to work on making it a consistent so that they know to expect your contact. Okay. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 2. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5 on the third. 10% on the fourth. 80% on the 5th through 12th. So how many contacts are we going to commit to at a minimum?
5.
5, right? Because it's just math. Numbers don't lie. I want to be in this, I want to be the 80%. So you've heard of Pareto's principle, the 80-20 effect, right? Where 80% of the people, or 20% of the people do 80% of the business. That is
Right.
so true in real estate. The top 20% are doing 80% of the business all day, every day. Do you want to be in that top 20? I
Yes.
do. So 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. You see 12th here? How many months are in a year?
12.
12.
Okay. So if you just contacted them once a month, you're in the 80%. Right? I mean, this isn't going to be difficult. We just need to get a system set up.
Mhm.
And we had, someone was saying that he heard an agent and he was always going for no. So he knew that it would take 19 no's for him to hear a yes. That was his conversion after he figured it out. So every no he got, he celebrated because he was that much closer to the yes. So what if you celebrated the no's instead of dreading them? What if you said, there's another one, because I'm getting that much closer to yes. I want to hear the yes, right? It sounds and it feels counterintuitive. However, when we celebrate a no, we know we're going to get the yes.
Right.
So let's be celebrating that. Okay, here we go. Procedures. Adam, have you closed any deals yet? No, you just like started a week or two ago, right?
Well, I started 2 months ago. I haven't done a deal yet.
Okay.
Currently, I'm working with a tenant, a renter,
Okay.
and the application we submitted just got approved.
Yay.
So now we just need to agree on the terms of the lease, and if all goes well, I will have my first deal.
Awesome. So you guys do leases. That's great. We don't do leases here. So that's one more
You don't
stream of
do-
income for you guys. That's amazing there.
You don't do rentals in general?
We do rentals, but typically agents, we don't write leases or anything like that.
Oh, right.
they just
I'm not writing the lease.
But I mean, we don't like, if I had someone who said, oh, I want to rent a place, I don't take them and then set that up or anything. I just send them to the property manager.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have that extra source of income like you guys do.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't it fun? I know you don't actually write them, but yeah, I get your point. But we don't even coordinate anything. We're just out of the picture altogether and don't get paid for any of it. So, so we don't do it. So that's fun that you guys have that extra source of income.
Right.
So let's see here. Past clients. So that's where I was going with past clients. We're going to remove the word past from clients. So if we've worked with them, helped them buy or sell, or, you know, get into a lease or whatever, we're going to remove the word past, because past means I've worked with you and I'm done, right? You were in the past. So we're going to keep them just as clients. When you go to the dentist, they don't say, hey, can you call all our past clients and see if they need their, you know, checkup? They just say clients, right? They don't call us past clients just because we've been there once and paid them some money. So take past out of there. Everyone is still a client because they could get you referrals. They can, you know, especially if you have helped someone with a lease, they may be ready to buy, right? So they are not a past client. So when we kind of take the word past out of our vocabulary, it helps me then organize my database a little bit better, because I used to have a category past clients. So now it's just clients, buyer clients, seller clients, whichever they were, or if they were both, they get both tags. And then it helps me know, okay, they're still clients. I still need to take care of them. They're not in my past. So what would it look like if you gave everybody you worked with 10 plus customer service? 10 plus. And that's going to be dependent on the person too, right? Because they don't know what they don't know. So you need to really set up a system of how you walk people through this process of buying and selling. Right now, are you all using Command to house your database?
Yes.
Is that where you're great? Awesome, great system. So let's use what we have, because that always makes things a lot easier, right? So we're going to say you closed 30 homes last year. And we're just going to assume an average commission of $4,000 per closing. Okay. So what is that average commission? So 30, I don't do math in my head. Sorry for you math people.
Jody, I just have to use the bathroom.
Okay. So 120,000 average commission for the year. So what if those 30 people actually referred you one more deal that year? We're up to 60 now, right? So 120 times 2. Now we're up to 240,000 average commission. Okay. And then what if each one of those 30 referrals referred you one piece of business? So you see how the numbers can just keep going on and on and up and up. And how that happens in our business, and Janet, you probably have experienced this, you start getting to work by referral instead of always out hunting for new business. Okay?
Right.
So taking care of our clients, whether we've worked with them in the past or not yet, is going to determine how large of a referral business we have, because it's a lot easier to work with referrals than it is to always be hunting for business. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we need to get some systems in place. Some sort of campaign, email that you can, what we call drip on those people. People you've worked with before, current people you're working with, people you have yet to work with, but that you know, they're in your sphere. Someone who needs to hear from you and be reminded. So how many of you get Amazon emails? Anyone get emails from Amazon? Janet, have you ordered anything ever online?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All the time. So do those companies just stop emailing you after you bought something?
Oh, no, I get emails from them
Right? Does it annoy you?
sometimes.
Do you open every one of them?
No.
No.
Delete, delete, delete.
Right? Delete, 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 delete until that one email comes through and you're like, oh yeah, I needed to get XYZ. I'm so glad they reminded me. Right? So
Right.
until then, we're just deleting, deleting, deleting. So on a drip campaign, Keller Williams, I believe we still have, and mine are still rolling through eEdge, and we're working on getting those set up in Command. But I just want them to literally see my name in their email inbox. I get emails from lenders. I just get so many emails, and typically I don't open them. So we're not going to like really, really worry about the content. The ones in eEdge that Keller Williams has put together for us are sufficient. They're very timely if we're using that system. And it's basically a set it and just let it go. We don't have to get in there and get all creative and, well, I don't know that 5% of the people are going to open the email. 5. But what they're going to see is that it came from you, that it came from you. It's just like Amazon. I see Amazon 16 times a day. I don't know. I haven't counted. It's probably more. And I appreciate when I finally get one that I don't delete because I'm like, oh yeah, I needed to get that. Oh yeah, it's just top of mind. It's reminding me. Okay. Can it be annoying sometimes? Sure, but all I have to do is hit delete. Okay. So this is the fun part. This is where we're going to have some fun. So research shows that typically we will have a 10-to-1 ratio where for every 10 people in our database, we will have one piece of business, whether that's that person or they've given us a referral, 10-to-1. Okay. That is only if they're marketed to correctly on a consistent basis. So let's say you have 200 of your top 200 and you market to them consistent and predictably so that they know they're not going to consciously go, oh yeah, I'm going to get an email from Adam in 3 days, right? That's not what I'm talking about. But being consistent in their inbox, their phone, their text, their PM, their, mailbox, whatever, so that they always remember you when they need you. Because people are only going to do business when they're ready to do business. We can't make them buy or sell a house, right? It's a huge decision. So they may be ready in 3 months, 2 months, I don't know. However, I want them when they are ready to remember me, and I want to make it really easy for them to remember me. So let's see, if you had 200 people in your database at a 10-to-1 ratio, how many sales would you have that year?
For 200 people,
Uh-huh.
it would be
10%.
20.
20. Okay. Would you be okay with 20 deals a year?
For my first year, yeah.
Right? Right. So that wouldn't be a bad day at the office. So Meralda said that your average commission in your office is $10,000. That's your average commission.
Is that before Keller Williams takes their cut or after?
That is probably gross. Is that
Okay.
gross, Meralda? So
Sounds
then
like
let
it
me
would.
go ahead and take Keller Williams out of there. So 6,400 if I take the Keller Williams out. Okay. So then times 20, 128,000.
Wow. Wow.
with 200 people in your database. Marketed to consistently and predictably.
Can the 200 people just be anyone and everyone?
Well, they're going to be your top 200. So the people that you know, a very good sphere of influence, and it could be a moving target, right? Because you may have someone in there and you're like, whoo, they're not doing their job. I need to jump someone else in there, right? But if you have a core 200 that you know you will market to predictably and consistently,
Right.
the numbers tell us that you will have a 10-to-1 ratio. So let's say you have 400 that you market to consistently and predictably. Now we're doubling that, right? And I know you will have capped by this time, so let's just even take that times two, $256,000.
Wait. For how many?
For 40 closings.
Oh, wow.
It'll actually be more than that because you will have capped.
Wow.
Still taking the 64% out of, or the 36% out of there. So database is hugely important. Yes, it's ideal to have a large database. A lot of those you're going to just have on a email drip of some sort, right? But if you take 200 and you market to them, Janet, have you ever done like what we call a pop buy? Like a little something that you take, like let's say for like St. Patrick's Day, you take a little something green.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so we call that a pop buy. What do you call that?
A drop by?
Drop by. Okay, so we call it a pop buy, you call it a drop by, right? So those
Right.
drop buys are huge. And I have one agent, she does 12 a month, predictably and consistently to 12 different people, right? So setting up a system to communicate. So with 200 people, let's do some more math. I know it's early, but we're going to do some math here. 200 people in your database. So let's just take 1 month. So if I divide 200 divided by 4 weeks, is that fair? That's 50 a week. And I'm going to divide that by 5 because I just am going to work 5 days. I'm not going to work 7. That's 10 contacts a day. And you can hit those 200 people every single month, contacting them 10 a day for a month. Does that feel doable?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Does it help to chunk it down to the day? Because
Yeah.
I hear 200 a month and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, right? But now I'm down to 10 a day. I talk to 10 people a day,
Right.
right? Now I just need to make sure I talk to the right 10 people with the right conversation. $10 a day. You guys have Bold coming up on Thursday. Are you both going to the first step?
Yes.
Awesome. Have either of you been?
No.
I've been to the first step the last time, but
Okay.
not the actual whole thing.
Okay. So Adam, get ready to have your mind blown, even though it's the first step.
Okay.
Gonna be awesome. Plus, it's all
Yeah.
new. So
And I keep hearing really great things.
yeah, you'll love it. Awesome. Okay, so 10 people a day out of our 200. So now we know when we go to sit down to do our lead generation, relationship building, whatever you want to call it, that those 10 people are the first ones I hit. And I need to figure out every month, what am I going to do? Is it going to be a drop by? Is it going to be a text message? What's it going to be? What method? And then what is going to be my content? right? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to give them? Is there an item of value? And it doesn't always have to be a monetary item, right? Are there some market statistics that you could give them? Hey, did you know in your area, this many homes sold so far this year? This was the average sale price, right? That's an item of value that may start them thinking. So if you want to have a predictable business for 2020, the number's 200. 200 people solid in your top 200. Not saying that's your whole database, but your top 200 that you just take care of every month. We call it loving on them, right? Reminding them that you're in business. Even if it's an email inviting them to an open house you're doing. Now, are they going to show up? Probably not. But they're going to see that you're working, right? Oh, doing another open house. Must be doing great, right? We want people to see us working. We do a lot of stuff in this business that people don't see. Open house is one way to be very visual about how you're doing and how you're working.
Right.
So, working, sorry, that was on Do Not Disturb, so that's weird. Predictability of knowing I'm going to have 20 closings in 2020 with 200, people in my database. Are you seeing the numbers there? I'm kind of a numbers weirdo. 2020,
Right.
20 deals, 200 people.
Right.
Lots of twos and zeros there. It seems a little coincidental to me that we're talking about this right now. Do you want to predict 25? Well, you better get 250 in your database, in your top tier.
Right.
Okay, so we need to figure out who those people are. And in your database, you can tag them in command. So you could do top 200, right? Or just the number 200. However you want to tag those people, so you know every month who you've talked to, who you haven't talked to, or connected with, or contacted. Okay, so designating your top 200. First job. Again, that's not going to be written in stone. It may be a little fluid. You may put people in there and decide they may not be in my top 200. I still want to love on them, but not at that level, right? And then figuring out what you're going to do every month, what method, and then what's the message, okay? Or what item of value, or is it just a, hey, just thought I'd pop in and say, hey, right? Or you saw something on Facebook and you text them and say, oh my gosh, I saw that you just won this, that, or the other, right? But make it predictable, not only for them, but for yourself. Let's make this easy on us too, so that we're not, every month going, oh, who am I going to contact? What am I going to say? How am I going to do it? Do a calendar out all of 2020. Could it change? Yes. But having a template is going to make it so much easier for you to be able to go in and say, okay, it's January, so I need to prepare for February. This is what I need to do to prepare. These are, this week I'm calling these people, this week I'm calling these people. You can get them set up in command with a task. So it'll pop up on your dashboard. You need to contact these 10 people today. So make it super simple for yourself and predictable and consistent. Because half the battle is all the time we're like, who do I contact? What do I say? If you just chart that out for the whole year, knowing it may change because your item of value may be different than what you thought it would be, you know, or you're a drop by, you thought you were going to do this little thing, but now you're, you know, but once you have it scheduled out, you now have a plan, right? If we don't plan, it's not going to happen. Get the plan together, knowing we can adjust the plan. We have to have a plan to adjust. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that seem like it's going to make it easier for you? Yeah. I'm all about working smarter, not harder. If I don't have to think, I don't know. I think you guys follow me on Facebook. I've started doing preparing my wardrobe for the week on the weekend prior to the week. And I'm telling you, it has saved. I just am tired of making decisions and agonizing over what am I going to wear? Is it steamed? Is it pressed? Da, 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 da. So I do it all on Saturday or Sunday now, and I just grab it off the rack and I go. So whatever you can do to make your life less stressful for having to make 100 decisions a day, have some of those decisions already made and then just execute. Just execute. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So now we've got people top of mind awareness. We have our top 200. We know what we're going to do, what message we're going to send. Okay, so what about the people that we've already done business with? And this is going to be huge. We're going to work on an after closing plan. An after closing plan. Because typically what happens, and I've done this, is we close and I'm like, woohoo, we're happy, and then I move on. Okay. So what would it look like if you had an after closing plan and you had, you know, in 1 week, you follow up, how are things going, yada, yada. If you do, I don't know if you're allowed to do closing gifts there, but we can do little closing gifts. So I would drop off my closing gift. I wouldn't take it to them. Meralda says, yes, you can do closing gifts. I wouldn't give it to them at the closing or the signing, because I typically go to my closings. I would maybe drop it off a week later. So that's one touch. So 1 week. At 2 weeks, you can follow up. How are things going? Are you getting settled in? Yada, yada. 30-day, 45-day, 60-day, 90-day, etc. Yep. So you can take it to the house, have it delivered, but I love having that touch that week later and a reason to go. Say hey. So figure out a plan. What are some things you could do after the closing? What are some things you could follow up with them on?
It could be anything really, like market information, stuff like other business that you're doing, to let them know that you're, you know, continuing doing well.
Yep, perfect. So they would probably be in your top 200, right?
Right.
People you've already done business with. So they're going to go into your top 200. So if you know there's someone who is not really getting in there. Yep, quarterly CMAs, Meralda says. So, but yeah, making sure that you keep in touch with them. So at your closings, Janet, do you get, or does your client get at some point a settlement statement? Like of all their costs and stuff? And then
Yes.
Here, the sellers and buyers use those, they give those to their tax accountant for any deductions that might be on there. So one thing you could do is if you get a copy of that, what I've done is I have mailed out, usually the end of December, I'll either make a copy and mail it out, or I'll email it with a nice note that just says, here's a copy of your settlement statement. You may need this for your taxes, you know, things like that. Don't answer any tax questions.
A copy of the settlement statement.
I'm sorry,
How do?
Janet,
we
how do
get-
you get a copy of the settlement statement?
Yeah,
Well, we usually ask for the HUD.
Okay. Rhonda says
So-
they don't give it to you anymore.
Right. The only thing I get is we can ask for the HUD.
Perfect. Okay.
which is what?
Oh, she said they don't give you the HUD anymore.
They don't?
Apparently
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So, so maybe if you don't have a copy, you can remind your client at the end of December, hey, or when you know, at closing, hey, put this in a safe place because you're going to need it next year when you file your taxes for your accountant or whoever does them. And then maybe in December, one of your touches is, hey, just wanted to remind you to make sure you find that and have it handy. So it may just be more of a reminder. So that they have that available. And maybe you do that in November because they might take them a month to find it. Meralda, maybe you can answer this. If they have, if your clients can't find it, where would they go to get that? They call their attorney. There you go. They would call their attorney for a copy. So you can put in there, hey, just a reminder, your settlement statement, you'll want to give that to your tax person. If you can't find your copy, contact your attorney. Here's who you closed with. Right? Make it easy for them. Perfect. Okay, so a couple other things we could do after closing. Like you said, just keep up with them. Let them know stats in their new neighborhood. Hey, did you see your neighbor's house went on the market? Yada, yada. Hi. Hi, is that Rosemary?
Louise,
Oh, Louise, there you are. Okay.
How are
Hi.
you? good. I just stopped in to say hi. So go ahead. I won't interrupt.
No, you're fine. Awesome. Hi. Cool, cool. So 20 contacts, your top 20, keeping in contact with them. After a closing plan, right? So these are things that you're going to want to be working on because like I said, when you have a plan, all you have to do is execute or tweak and execute, right? As you grow your business, you're going to learn, oh my, I should have done that, or this would have been cool this month, or things like that, right? So making sure that we're top of mind all the time. Top of mind. So those people that are not in your top 200, we still need to be consistent with them with some sort of email drip campaign, a quarterly call, something like that. So your top 200 monthly, right? From you personally. Your other 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, email drip. Once a month, 33 touch, 36 touch, whatever we're going with now, right? But predictably, when you have 200 people in your database, you will close 20 deals in a year.
10%.
Right.
So Adam, what does that do for you, closing 20 deals in a year?
Everything.
Everything. What does everything mean?
Going from zero income to some form of income.
Some really good form of income.
A lot of-
Right? Right? And it's possible because people have done it. I mean, this
Right.
isn't impossible. So people can do this. Well, the mama's taking care of us. So it's totally possible.
Right.
And it doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent, if you're an experienced agent, if you're an experienced agent starting over, it doesn't matter. It's simple math. 200 people, 10-to-1 ratio, 20 deals when marketed and taken care of properly.
Right.
Okay. What this is also going to do, did you guys tell me you're in a buyer's market or seller's market right now?
We're in a buyer's market.
You're in a buyer's market. So you've had a little bit of a shift already.
Shifting.
It's shifting.
Shifting. Okay. So this will shift proof your business. I don't believe that just because there's a shift or just because it's winter, that my business is now going to suck.
Right.
I do not believe that. I believe my business is as strong as I believe it to be and make it because I'm a hard worker and I'm not going to stop. When I moved from, because I was a realtor in Hawaii, that's where I first started. We were military. And then we moved to Kansas. So I knew I was going to have to work doubly hard because I was coming into a new market. Nobody knew me, all of that. Well, that was 2007,
Oh, wow.
the Great Recession, right?
Right.
So I didn't know about this Great Recession because I already knew that my market was totally going to be different from Hawaii to Kansas, right? Clearly. And I just did my job and did what I was trained to do. I'd go to listing appointments and I've have, you know, the people go, well, we had another agent in here and they told us the market sucks and we shouldn't sell right now. The first time I heard that, I was like, you what? An agent did what? And I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm having a fantastic year. I don't know what they're seeing in this market that sucks. I'm selling houses. I'm helping people buy houses. People are still buying and selling. It's not like everything has come to a screeching halt. So could it take a few months? Yes. And that's what I'm here to do. That is my job, is to get your house sold. I don't want to just list it. I want to sell it. No one gets paid until we sell.
Right.
And they were like, oh, okay, well, you're real positive. And I'm like, well, I can choose positive or I can choose negative, right?
Right.
I can go down the path, the market sucks, da, da, da. Or I can be like, you know what? Business is doing well. People are still buying and selling. Let's get your house sold. That'll shock them, right? So then these agents started getting wise to me because I kept getting all these listings and selling them. And they're like, what are you doing? Because here I was, the new kid on the block in a small town, not a big town, a small town. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm not telling people the market sucks. That's what I'm not doing. And they were just like, oh my gosh. So I actually loved all those agents who thought the market sucked because I kept getting all their business. Like, this is cool.
Right.
Right? So again, it's that mindset thing. Are you going to allow yourself to go down the path of the market sucks? Are you going to say, you know what, people are still buying or selling and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be the one to make it happen.
Right.
Being strong in my presentations, knowing my stuff, being confident, letting them know, yes, I know you want to get X amount and the market's telling us this. If you're serious, this is where we need to be. Right? So it was just funny because I was like, I was totally geographically starting in a new, I mean, Hawaii, Kansas, you couldn't get more different real estate than that. I mean, I was selling beaches and now I'm selling cornfields. I don't know. So then all the agents were super negative, and it was the recession, which I didn't pay attention to because I knew that I just had to get my business going. So I feel I can speak on shift proofing your business.
Right.
By just doing what you need to do and keeping a positive mindset.
Right.
None of this is easy. It's simple. It's not easy. It's work. I know a lot of people who, when I was productivity coach at my first office, and they, be 2 or 3 weeks in, or a month or 2 months, and they're like, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. And then I'd ask, well, what did you think it would be? I just thought my friends would start calling me. I'd be selling their houses or helping them buy, and no one's calling me. Okay, so how are you reaching out? Well, I'm not. Okay. I mean, I don't know what other sales business you can just sit there and wait for someone to call you.
Right.
I mean, there's none. So we just have to do our job. When you're doing your job at a high level, which is creating business, you can create your own market. How awesome would that be? That's what I did with all those agents who were always like, oh, the market sucks. I was creating my own market because I was staying positive. I was making sure that my clients understood, yes, this could take 3 to 6 months, and I'm in it to the end, and we're going to make this work. Right? Or if you're going to price it right, we'll get it sold right away. People are always buying and selling. It doesn't matter. Be positive. Meralda said I had great years in the worst markets, right?
Right.
Because those of us who work hard will continue to work hard. Those who thought that their phone was just going to ring are not going to make it. So I believe in you guys who are here. You're coming to these, sessions, and you're like, I'm in this. Good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to make it work. And it can. Historically, December is my highest month of closings. Not July, not August, December. Why? Because I guess I finally kicked it in the last quarter. I don't know. But, in the spring and summer, we think, oh, it's great. And then I must have said, ooh, not so great, and kicked it in. And all of a sudden, December was my hot month. Plus, in the third quarter, your buyers and sellers are super serious. They're not just trying the market, right? They're super serious. Okay, so how do we make sure that we give our top 200 and everybody, our clients that we've already worked with and closed, great customer service, 10 plus service? And you may need to ask them, what does 10 plus service mean to you? Well, you answer my phone calls. And sometimes it's as easy as that.
Right.
Because they've worked with people, agents, who don't answer their phone. Or if you don't answer, you call me back, right? So the bar is set pretty low for customer service a lot of the times in real estate, unfortunately. Might be why they compare us to used car salesmen. I don't know. So here's a top 11 things for great customer service. Number 1, you're paid in direct proportion to the service that you give. We can make a lot of money in this business. And you get paid in direct proportion to the service that you give. You give great service, you get paid great. You give not great service, it's all proportionate, right?
Right.
Okay. Number 2, and I've talked about this before, questions, listen. Be an active listener and ask good questions. Remember the scuba diving questions.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ask and listen. Take notes if you need to. Watch their body language. Are they away from you? Are they up to you? Are they crossing their arms and looking all crotchety? Right? Pay attention. If they're on the phone, you can hear a lot in a voice. Are they smiling? You can hear a smile through the phone. The person in control is the one asking most questions.
Right.
So as the professional, it's our job to control the conversation. The person bonding the most is the one doing the most talking. So we want our those people, the prospects, to bond with us. So they will be talking, right? That creates the bond, and we are in control with the questions. So think about, what's my question to statement ratio? Am I talking a lot, or am I asking more questions?
Asking more questions.
Right? So watch yourself, even with your family or whatever. Start asking more questions, practicing that, and you'll get way more out of them. I went to dinner with my son last night. He's 20, junior in college, and as you can tell, I'm in a hotel room today. I'm in Wichita, Kansas, getting ready for a conference. And I stopped by his college and took him to dinner. And I was asking him questions, not just like peppering him so he'd be like, Mom, you're so annoying, but really good questions about his business school. He just joined a fraternity, you know, so I was like,
Fraternity. Which fraternity?
Delta Chi.
Awesome.
So
I only asked because
where were you? What one were you in?
I was in AE Pi.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love the Greek. Yep. And so I just started asking him questions because I wanted to learn more, but I didn't, you know, I wasn't like peppering him. I just like, so, you know, da 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 da. But I really got a lot of information out of him that he normally would not have just shared.
Right.
Okay. So practice it. You'll be surprised at what people will tell you when you ask the right question. And they won't feel like you're prying or whatever. They'll be like, oh, because when we ask people questions about them, they feel that we care. So practice it. You'll be surprised. When I became a coach, one of the things that my coach challenged me to do was to just ask a ton of questions and not give any advice. That's hard when you're someone who wants to give everyone advice or just answer the question.
Right.
So you'll find as I grew as a coach, instead of, if someone said, hey, you know, where is this? I would just go, da 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 da, here it is. Instead, now I'm like, well, where did you look? Well, I haven't looked. Okay, where would you look if you looked? Well, I'd probably go here. Okay, great. Well, after you're there, and if you don't find it, let me know, which I know they're going to find it because it's there. But instead of giving them the answer, I started helping them find the answer, right? Instead of giving it, I helped them find. So creating fishers instead of people just sitting there with their mouth open, sucking in all my advice. That gets really exhausting. So same for you. Help your people find it instead of just always giving the answer. Again, we talked about making them feel important, right? When you're asking questions, I feel important, like, oh, you care. And it's not just asking the questions, it's listening and maybe scuba diving a little bit to get more clarity. Okay, clients will buy into you if you provide solutions to their problems. Okay, this isn't, like I said, telling them what to do, but helping them discover solutions to their problems. Okay, Janet, has there ever been a transaction that went a little sideways for you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right? So it all seems really fun and simple until it's not. So how do we find solutions? That is really a huge part of being a realtor, is being solution-based, not feeding into the problem. You know, maybe the other agent or somebody is freaking out. My rule for my agents and coaching is we are the calmest person in the transaction. We are the calm. We are the solution finders. We do not get all caught up in the hype and the drama and everyone freaking out. We do not do that.
Right.
We stay calm, we figure it out, and we provide solutions or options. The minute we get all caught up in the storm, is not pretty. Okay. That may be reminding everyone that we all have the same goal. We all want this to close. We all want everyone to move on. It may take some compromise, but we all want the same goal. Okay. So be a solutions person, not adding to the problem or creating problems where there are none. And if something comes up with the other side, do not let your client in on that. Handle it, right? Nothing's worse. I've heard agents go, well, the other agent, I told my client that the other agent was doing this, this, and this, and now my client's mad at them, and oh my gosh, do not stir that pot. Okay? Remember, we're the calmest in the transaction. We are solution-based.
Right.
So we can get everyone going to the same goal. The process. We've talked about walking them through the process. We talked about walking buyers through the process, sellers through the process. Okay? Coaching them, helping them understand that process makes them feel really comfortable and confident, not only in the process, but in you as the agent. It builds trust. Our systems are what we use. The process is what we do to help our client through. And I heard way back when I first started coaching that people silently want to be led. So if you're leading them, that makes them feel good and confident. Okay. Leading means you're in front of them, helping them, getting the path clear. You're not behind them, pushing them, right? So leading them through the process. People silently want to be led. I think that actually might be in the Shift book. I can't remember. But people silently want to be led. Another really good one, we talked about setting those expectations and never hang up the phone without saying, this is what will happen next. So if you're going through a process piece and say, okay, we got the appraisal back, everything's good, this is what will happen next. So you may have shared the full process with them up front, and now you're going to walk them through that process. This is what will happen next. This is what will happen next. So that they're comfortable. Again, it's setting those expectations so they're not calling you every day asking you, well, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? Okay. This is a really, really important one. Always be ready to apologize, even if it's not your fault. You don't have to own the blame, but always apologize for the situation, you know, whatever. I'm so sorry this happened. Again, we get to then get into solution mode, right? This is what the other agent and I talked about, and what do you think of these options? Right? Becoming solution-based. Apologizing, not owning it as the blame of you. Because I've known so many people, even in personal life, if they would have just apologized, everything would have been fine. Ever heard that one?
Yes.
So your clients may be thinking the same thing. Well, why don't they just apologize? Even if it's not your fault or you were to blame, I'm so sorry that this happened. You know, that this went this direction. Here's some solutions. Here's some options, whatever. And we make this whole process as easy as it can be. They want it to be easy. So whatever you can do, make doing business with you easy. Right? Again, here's what's going to happen next. Keep them going through the process. Having a communication plan. This is huge. Communication plan. So with a listing, with a seller, when are you going to contact them on a consistent basis? So my communication plan with sellers was I contacted them twice a week and however they wanted to be contacted, or we agreed that if it wasn't anything earth-shattering, I would shoot them a text, right? So agree to how you're going to communicate, number one. If it doesn't require a call, okay? So I did Mondays and Fridays for my sellers. I did not give them a time. I said, you will hear from me every Monday and Friday.
Right.
Okay, specifically. Now, you can do more, right? But I say at least 2 days a week. It'll probably end up being more because just of the nature of sellers. But I know I've had listings for 3 or 4 months. And of course, if there was something like I had to get to them, I would let them know. But Mondays, my plan was on Mondays, I would go over anything that happened over the weekend. Any new listings that came on, anything that went pending in their area, just so that I could keep them, let them know, hey, this was what happened this weekend. And if I did an open house on the weekend, I would let them know on Monday. Unless I got an offer in my hand, Sundays can get crazy if you do open house on Sunday or Saturday. So I just set the expectation that they would hear from me on Monday. Okay, Friday, I would give them an update on what happened during the week. Right? What went pending, what came on active, what sold. Do we need to have a pricing conversation? Right? Because I've given them the info. So if you want to, what I've done with my sellers, what system do you use for your MLS? Do you know, is it Paragon, Matrix?
Oh, Matrix.
Matrix, that's what we use too. Awesome. So I know there's a few out there. What I've done with my sellers, and they love this, is I've set them up on an automatic email drip or automatic email through the MLS system like I would a buyer. Only I set them up as a seller so they can see active, pending, sold, under contracts, whatever you guys do up there every day. I just have that sent to them once a day. And then basically my Monday and Friday call, I recap. So you can touch them every day if there's activity going on, but the MLS, my sellers love that because now they get to see what's going on in their neighborhood on a daily basis. Then I follow up with the 2 touch calls or text or whatever we agreed to. So set your communication plan. Buyers, we're with them all the time, right? Trying to find a house, we get under contract. And about the first week to 2 weeks, there's a lot of stuff going on, right? We have inspections once we make the offer. Then it's accepted, and then we go appraisal, so there's a lot of kind of moving parts in the first week to 2 weeks. And then it kind of just slows down because now the lender needs to do their part, get that done. The attorneys are doing their part. So it may seem like nothing's happening to the buyer. So make sure you do those 2 a day during the contract period or 2 a week touches so that they know that there's still stuff going on. So I do set that expectation up front once we do get a contract and all that, and then we move on. I just let them know, hey, the first week to 2 weeks is going to be really we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Your lender's going to be calling you. I'll be, there's a lot of moving parts. And then it may seem like everything just stops. Well, that's when everything is being worked on in the, on the back end with your lender and your attorney. So we'll still keep in touch, but set the expectation that's going to be really busy and then it's going to seem to stop. Right? Well, that's all being processed. Do you guys do a 30, 45-day close? What do you guys do there?
60.
60-day close? Okay.
I think, depending
I
on
would
what
say-
if you pre-approval, usually 30 days, I think,
Okay.
or 30 to 60.
Yeah, so, it just depends anywhere in there. If you're doing a, 30, 45, 60-day close, 30 to 60, perfect. Those last few weeks can seem like a long time because there's not a lot going on.
Right.
Okay. So helping your buyer make sure they set up utilities for that date, So just weekly, twice a week, getting them some information. Hey, we have the appraisal in, everything's good, blah. So again, set up a communication plan for your sellers and your buyers. Okay, so that you don't have to think about it. You can just put in your calendar, seller follow-up. So when you sit down to work in your business, you need to call my sellers, text them, however they are wanting to be communicated with. Right? Again, setting a plan so you don't have to every day think, who am I supposed to call? What am I supposed to be doing? Do you see how that can make it really simple for us as the agent? And then always go the extra mile. And I'm telling you, I already told you, real estate has set the bar a little bit low in the customer service department. And the extra mile may just be one extra phone call, right? Or one extra text.
Right.
Hey, everything's on track. We're looking good. If anything comes up, I'll let you know. Right? I'll talk to you again on Friday, or I'll reach out again on Friday. Okay. And always just assure them that should something happen between Monday and Friday, I will contact you. I'm not going to wait till Friday, right? But if there's really nothing earth-shattering happening, if I haven't received an offer, they know for sure they're going to hear from you twice a week. Plus, if you set them up on that matrix auto email for info, that gives them what's going on in the neighborhood, like they were a buyer. My sellers just love that. I've shared that with a ton of agents, and sellers love it because they feel like they're like getting info before anyone else does. Like they know what's going on. Awesome. Okay. About 10 minutes left here. I'm going to ask you two things. So I always ask for an aha. So what's one aha that you've had from today's session?
I would say I always gave my closing, at the closing, I gave them the gifts at the closing. So waiting a week and dropping it off is a good thing. It's probably a better idea.
Good. I love that. Yeah, you can do it however you want, but try that. See how that feels for you. Right? Just one more touch.
I would say that breaking things down by numbers makes the task seem less daunting. Like when you said for 2020, it's going to be 20 deals on 200 people.
Right? Kind of fun, right? So write 2020, 220. Right? Write that somewhere. Print it out. Make it your screensaver on your phone. I don't know. Keep it front and center.
Right.
Yep. Following up after the sales and keeping those, past buyers in mind to be future sellers. Yep. That's what Meralda said. Exactly. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to ask, what one thing from today, one thing are you going to implement next week? By next week.
I'd like to go through my database and target the people that I think would be the most 200 influential.
Great. I'm telling you, that's going to be huge for you. Huge.
I would say setting up my first drip campaign.
Great.
Email campaign.
Perfect. And there's plenty of people in your office that can help you with that. So find them. I know Donna probably can help. I don't know if you have a designated tech person. Lots of good people in your office to get that help from. Let's see. No chat. Yep. So another good thing, Meralda put in here with your in command, you can set people up on what's called neighborhoods. So check into that. If you're not going to your command classes, there's a lot of videos on KW Connect as well that you could watch at your own leisure, but try to get to your classes in office. That's some really good hands-on stuff. Okay, awesome. So action items. Go through your database, like you said, Janet, and designate your top 200. And then with those top 200, figure out what you're going to do every month and what type of message. And again, don't get hung up on this. Don't get in your own way. Just get a plan on paper or whatever on paper, and it can be tweaked. It's not carved in stone. You start with a plan, you can start then working it out. Okay. Communication plan. Set up a communication plan that you'll provide for your buyers and sellers. And then an after closing plan. Doing a lot of planning. Because we have like 87, 86 days left in the decade. Someone posted that, so I reposted it. Decade? What? We're almost through this decade. Crazy. So let's get some planning done for 2020. That'll take us through 2030. Seems weird. Never thought I'd hear myself say that, but here we are. 86 days away from a new decade. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, you have some work to do. Remember to keep adding people to your database. And like I said, you can tag your people in command. So as you're putting in your top 200, tag them so you know exactly who they are. You can set up tasks. And do you all have Kelly downloaded to your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you do, because when you have tasks set up through command, it'll remind you through Kelly. Just a little, as long as you have your notifications set up. So it's pretty cool. I get a little text and I'm like, hey, that's cool. I got stuff to do. So really just making it easy on yourself. So when you open up your command dashboard and it'll say, that'll give you your 10 people you need to work on that day. Do your follow-up first, do, current client work, and then you can go get some stranger business. BizBos, expireds, things like that. But just remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. Tony DeCello, he's part of KW and Maps. That's his mantra. The fortune is in the follow-up. Yes, Adam.
So do you believe you should look for business within our database before looking for business from outside?
Yes, that is my opinion.
Okay.
And I've heard Tony DeCello say it as well, that you've got to, if you haven't followed up with your people, you don't deserve to meet new people.
Okay.
So I always coach to start with follow-up. Get those people taken care of, and then go for the business you don't know.
Right.
That is my strong opinion.
All right.
That used to not always be the case. So you get to start out raw on the right foot.
Right.
See, the beauty of you, Adam, is you don't have any bad habits to break.
That's true.
You get to start out of the gate right, and not that everything I do is perfect or will work for you, but you're going to have a lot more knowledge and plans in place and systems than I ever did when I first started. So,
Okay.
yeah. Awesome, you guys. I always appreciate your time and spending this time with you guys on Monday morning. I'll be back tomorrow evening if you want to jump on again. Yeah, just super excited. And remember, follow up first. Ooh, I like that. Follow up first. I just had a tagline. Follow up first, fortunes in the follow up.
Will tomorrow night's session be recorded?
Yeah, it'll be the same topic. It's just we have different people on, so there may be something I throw out that's different. But
Okay.
yeah, I'll start posting them. And the reason we couldn't get on before is they were all set to private. So I've taken the privacy off. It's all public now.
Okay.
So I can, I'll post those in the Facebook page. So they should all be good to go.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You guys have a very productive week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll see ya.
Okay.